One of the few good things that came out of the Las Vegas Raiders' loss to the Dallas Cowboys in the last game of the preseason was the fact that we got to see Tyree Wilson, the 2023 7th overall pick by the Raiders this year. We got to kind of come up with our own things, kind of discover what he's going to look like moving forward for this defense, what he's going to bring. And honestly, I was pretty encouraged by his debut. Now, we'll go ahead and get into the takeaways here in a second, but I wanted to run play-by-play and just go over what we saw from Tyree Wilson. So, first off, we saw the guy get in kind of late in the first, or later in the first drive of the first quarter, which is kind of weird. Usually, you would see a guy like him get in to just be the starter, but overall, Malcolm Kuntz and Willis did get in there for the Raiders to start things out with. But a little bit later into the drive, when the Cowboys got into the red zone, in came Tyree Wilson. So first off, we saw him on his first play go up against a wide receiver that was going to give him what you call a lookout block. If you're familiar with the defensive side of the football, which is, hey, they're going to try to pin you with that wide receiver and pin that edge, and then try to run around the outside. Excuse me, and it worked to a degree. But then Tyree Wilson, ran him over, which is kind of funny when you watch it back in real time. But overall, I don't necessarily put that big gainer on him in his first play of his career. The fact, that he ran over the wide receiver was hilarious. But also, I think it's more on the linebackers that need to scrape over the top and really do a better job, as well as on David Long for kind of missing out on that outside run action that he missed out on. So don't really put that on Tyree Wilson. In fact, it was kind of awesome to see him run over somebody on his first play. The second snap that he had in the red zone was that false start penalty, is what it is there. But the third snap, that's where we started to see why the Raiders took him with the 7th overall pick. First off, he basically bench pressed the right tackle into Will Grier, which did cause him to scramble and nearly get a first down if Luke Masterson wasn't there to make the tackle. But he pushed the right tackle immediately and collapsed the pocket within a half a second, which was incredible. He showed off that impressive power, but overall, Will Grier, like I said, did escape the pocket. I put that more on coaching because specifically where you want your linebackers for a guy that we already know is going to scramble with Will Grier, which they found out a little bit late. But hey, he collapsed the pocket, showed off that power, and I think that's just a sign of what's to come with him. Then the next play, yes, he did lose contain on that touchdown run. What happened is he immediately came off the snap there. If you watch that Will Grier touchdown run, he came off, got off against the tight end, but the tight end released into the flat, which in turn made the outside contained player, the corner player, go with the tight end, and Tyree Wilson had to make a choice of how he was going to chase down Will Grier, which Will Grier is kind of athletic. So Tyree Wilson took a very roundabout turn to go chase him down. He should have went straight down the line because he would have met up with Will Grier, but overall it was, I do kind of pin that on Tyree Wilson. Again, I know it's only his first play, or it's his first game. He's been out with an injury to kind of start things out with, so I don't really fault him for that. I think it's more down with coaching and all that, but hey, at the end of the day, you got to be able to call a spade a spade. He did lose contain on that touchdown run. That was his guy that did score. The very next snap there on a couple of drives later, the very first play, they gave it to Luke Key, the guy from North Dakota State. I swear they said that 6 times. We get it. The guy was a former Bison. He won many national championships, but overall, he made a fantastic tackle on him by going down on the tackle with that play, reading the play beautifully, and then shedding. You saw a lot of that with what he did at Texas Tech, just having the ability to diagnose a run play and then also get off the block and make the tackle, which he did a fantastic job with. The next play was a quick pass, so he got a pretty good rush for the fact that the ball was coming out pretty quickly. You can't really fault him for that. So, and then in the next play, he did get pinned inside on that outside run that led to a first down run by Lupke. Wasn't really on him, I don't believe. He did get pinned by the tight end, but overall, Amari Burney did go in the wrong gap. So, even though he did get pinned, Amari Burney should have been able to scrape over the top and make that play, but it was a bad read by both of them. It is what it is, and you're going to live to see another day. Next play, again, quick pass. They did that because, hey, they kind of saw what he did against that right tackle on that first play of the game, that first pass rush play of the game. So, hey, it was good to see. Quick pass. The next play, he set the edge beautifully, which made the running back turn it back up inside, which, hey, Luke Masterson finally showing up, made a huge hit on the running back. You love to see it. I think that was really set up by his ability to set the edge and him being effective in the run game. And then finally, the next couple of plays were passing plays for the Cowboys. They triple teamed this man. The first time was with a couple of tight ends in the right tackle, and then after that it was with the right tackle, the right guard, and then the running back. So it is what it was there. So overall, what can you take away from this? Well, first off, he was very effective in the running game. He had that pin that helped Luke Masterson just blast the Cowboys running back on that one play for a loss. He also did a good job in a couple of other plays in the run game, like we mentioned. So he's effective in the run game, and we saw it from him in college as well. Not worried about that, even though, yes, he did have a bad contained job on that Will Greer first touchdown run. Not worried about it. I think he's going to be fine in the running game. And it's actually kind of a pleasant surprise because usually defensive ends that come into the NFL, they're very polished in the passing game, with a lot of different moves, being able to bull rush, being able to go with the speed rip outside, or maybe find a counter. Tyree Wilson, and then they also suck against the run. Tyree Wilson is the opposite. He's very good against the run, but he's really raw against the pass, which I think you can develop, which is really good to see. So he's effective in the run game. That's number one. He's got work to do in some of his run keys. Yes, he got pinned on a couple of tight ends. We covered that. We're not going to beat a dead horse here. I think he's got to develop more pass rush moves. We really did mainly just see him use his bull rush. Again, we're going to see what happens, moving forward. But hey, he's going to learn to develop that, and it's going to be something to see. He's talented, and the talent is there in spades. So this guy is massive. If you look at the picture we use, just literally like 8 feet tall. And then there is David Long Jr., who's like, not looking so tall. So the size, the speed, the athleticism is there. The talent is there in spades. How will it develop? That's another big thing that we took away. He played both sides, whether it was left defensive end or right defensive end, really showing an ability to not only set the edge, but also get after the passer in both. And then the biggest question that I really have here is how will he be integrated? Because you look at what the Raiders have right now. They've got Max Crosby. He's a Pro Bowler. He's the leader on the defense. We get all of that. They also have Chandler Jones, who is getting up there, and he counts for a lot of money on the salary cap this year. So they're going to use him in some capacity. Also, Malcolm Coops made some noise throughout the preseason. They've got some of these other guys that I know they're going to integrate as well. So I really do question how much he's going to be integrated into this defense, but I really think at the very least he needs to be put in some of the NASCAR packages. Go ahead and get this man, stop wasting time, because overall, if we just had to look and take out what the evaluation of his debut, I'm encouraged. I think we got a guy that is going to be able to defend the run. He's going to get better in the pass, and I think he's going to be a huge building piece with Max Crosby for the Raiders defensive line moving forward. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. And at the end of the day, let us know what you guys thought about Tyree Wilson's preseason debut against the Dallas Cowboys.